Hello, and welcome to another episode of my Realpolitiks Let's Play. This is Northstar. Hope you folks well, are taking care of each other, and being kind to yourselves. For this new series or my channel, welcome. For those returning, welcome back. No, I have no interest in their shitty launcher, and this is a game that hates to be minimized, hence why I have to start from the desktop there. Everyone's adding a launcher just as an excuse to advertise their other products. And this company sucks. Honestly, their customer service for this game leaves much to be desired. So, get over my multivitamin, and I'm like, oh wait, I already took it. Yeah, insomnia sucks, and I should mention that I am deep in the throes of thereof today. So there's Punes sitting on a couch. They have various world leaders playing this and the like, cute little illustrations. Yeah. Right. I find this map view is the version with the least lag, and yes, this game will sometimes lag. So it's been a while since I picked this up, but this didn't get great views. I figure I can't screw it up too bad with my sleep deprivation right now. And it's pretty bad. It's been like 4 nights since a good night's sleep. Every night I've been able to fall asleep, or I woke up really early. Then there were nights people kept me up with noise right before that, which is why it's such a problem when people do that, because then there can be nights where I can't sleep at all. And so whatever little bit of sleep I lose in that compounds because I don't get the chance to make it up the next day or the day after. Let's see. So there's this space races thing that would probably bankrupt my country, and I wouldn't be able to win. All my action points would disappear. Yeah, that could easily bankrupt a tiny country like Macedonia trying to compete with the big boys in space race. So I'm definitely not trying to win by the normal game end year here. Just trying to win eventually. This would be like, I don't know, playing Hearthstone 4, where you start as Yugoslavia and then spam Macedonia. Can you do that? I'm not sure you can with the DLCs that there's a focus tree path, or at least Macedonia, so I'm not sure if you can actually spin them off and play as them at the beginning of the game. If you could, it could actually be pretty powerful if you went communist, which Yugoslavia, if you put it on a historical path, would then follow and do the same. So you would have an ally in the rest of Yugoslavia. Small nations do better as communist in Hearthstone 4, whereas big ones do better fascist. If you have no moral qualms playing as either. Anyways, it's because you get a certain fixed amount of repopulation each week or month or whatever. It's week is leftist country, whereas fascists get a recruitable pot factor, which benefits big countries more, anyways. So it's been a little bit. I'm at medium economic development. Switch off with low. What's going on with my GDP? It's shrinking. Oh, the world economy is in a deep recession. It'll go back into the black later. Okay, population growth, which is ultimately what's deciding my economy will probably grow at this rate. Essentially, whenever I dip in the low growth, I get a higher growth factor and it catches up. And unemployment, which ultimately determines pop growth, so I keep employment high. Let's see. Attorney leave. I get a mission to reduce personal control, get advanced infantry training. Personal control, not about to go down unless attorney leave I think I just did for the pop growth. And want to make the freedom movement happier, they increase their tax income and reduce personal control, helping me to get this mission in the first place. So yeah, and these nut jobs, the Church of Reconology, you get interventionism very, very low. Not sure if you have to set taxes below 7% or I think the minimal allowed, but you have to get very low interventionism. For a small country, they give you a fixed amount of AP per month, but increase block maintenance, reduce tax income, reduce personal control. So they can forget the personal control. If I get an option that please them, that's why I'm not in Nowheream. Okay, full-scale migration, super grants, grand lottery, everything. Yeah, it's all focused on pop growth. Infantry Training Center, Advanced Infantry Training. Costs 1,500, 500 plus the little bit for this. Yeah, so these tasks, especially for a small country, can be very valuable for buffing up your nation. 1,000 AP. Yeah, so it'll turn money into AP. Problem is, barely have enough money even. I have all 3 infantry. So I haven't bothered building any. Right. Shoot. Okay, I've been recording for 7 minutes here. It looks like I started a timer because the game hates being minimized. So, probably should be a little careful with spending of AP. Going up the economic modernization tree is normally a very good idea. That or the international diplomacy one. It's gonna be a little while till I have a block. Wait, am I at war? The sounds of a war. Oh no, that's Ukraine and Russia. Serbia is fighting someone too. Why is Serbia the target of a UN? Oh, because they took over Kosovo. It looks like, which eventually I should have an option to peacefully unify with Serbia, Kosovo, Montenegro. Bosnia and Herzegovina, I think too. Whereas Croatia and Slovenia from their own block. I remember. Either way. I haven't messed with Albania, but I actually could try and annex them. They're a lot weaker, I think, than Bulgaria. Nope. No, they are not. They just have a weaker economy. Population is smaller. Yeah, I'd have to go after Albania sooner or later. Either way, what's this? A little extra tax income. Costs nothing. Eventually you'll get a nice modifier. Game interventionism just hurts your economic growth. And it doesn't have what it was supposed to do, where it makes the global economy affect your economy less. So crashes in the global economy don't have a huge crushing effect on GDP, which would have made it worth having, but then that was never implemented. Okay, Turkey is at war with ISIS. The devs just completely neglected to implement that, even though some of the tooltips indicate it's supposed to do that. Making this game very much a neoliberal's wet dream of deregulate everything if you want a strong economy. Well, more like a fascist wet dream, because it also encourages you to hyper-militarize and control your population a lot of the time. And go totalitarian. It certainly doesn't reward any kind of left-wing economics, even though in the real world they would work. Heck, if it just implemented the interventionism correctly, having a world economic situation that can reduce your monthly GDP growth by minus 0.42, that's crushing. It would be better to, I keep trying to right click to not see things, to be in positive GDP growth all the time, because of the way that unemployment interacts with GDP growth. You need a certain threshold of GDP growth to not have unemployment growth. And if you're just trying to hold it at 0%, which you should do, unemployment, which you should do, which also any actual capitalist country would not be able to do that. Capitalism is, according to most economists, requires about 3% unemployment. And for a while they were trying to hold it at 6%, because 3% leads to the fastest GDP growth under capitalism. That's as opposed to socialist countries, which actually would have no unemployment, would actually have labor shortages usually, and that would be the optimal point for them. Especially because that would encourage state planners to invest more in automation if there was a labor shortage. But the rich want usually 6%, because that leads to the fastest growth in their net worth, as opposed to at 3% employment, where the growth is more evenly distributed. But yeah, the system requires a certain proportion of unemployed, and yet punishes and hurts those people, even though it requires them to exist. It's most shameful when people are unemployed due to, say, disability. I'm disabled long COVID and don't have the ability to. Looks like Russia just took some territory from Ukraine. They took over Odessa. Ukraine's not going to last much longer at all at this rate. Right. But mistreats a percent of the population, doesn't even have the option of being anything but part of that group that has to exist. Anyways, I'm disabled on COVID. It sucks. It hurts my ability to focus, to think clearly. Brain fog is crushing sometimes. Makes my insomnia worse. Causes memory issues. The Church of Reconology, this is obviously a stand-in for Scientology, is planning a public display of their entering the higher levels of their so-called operating cabin. That is, as they say, higher levels of unity with the universe. So they want us to schedule them some free time on national TV to show the country and the world the true power of reconology. Right. So it's like a mix of evangelical churches and Scientology. Can spend a bunch of money and more AP than I have, so it would wipe out my AP, which would really cost 94 to improve. And by a bunch of money, I mean this would like increase my national debt by a huge factor. Still, the AP growth you can get from them, yeah, just exploded my debt. Oh, bankrupted my country doing that. But that wipes out the debt. Closes my stock exchange if I had one. Hurts my score in relation to the world. Did I have a stock exchange? Forget. I might have. But yeah, as a small country, you often have to manipulate bankruptcy, so I probably shouldn't have had one if I did. I've done it for, I think, a mission, so might not have been worth it. Anyways, now get 2 AP a month, which is very significant. I was always running 12 surplus, now I'm running 14. Actually, it's a reduction to block units for an insignificant amount of money. I get AP, it's a worthwhile trade-off. And the reduced personal control can be a good thing and actually increases your population's happiness. People astonished. The operating Kappan TV special had some of the best ratings in the history of TV. They're very grateful for help. Score and my personal control goes back up. Balancing out the target change, I guess. It's actually not a good thing, but loss. It was still a net loss of score and AP and stuff. The benefit was long-term AP growth. Still, hurting relations in Bulgaria, not a terrible thing. They might actually attack me eventually because they dislike that I decide to claim their territory, as they well should.